In today's video, I'm going to be referencing a latest article from Dave Pagnotta on the fourthperiod.com, updating the situation with the Arizona Coyotes and their potential sale. It does look as though things are inching closer to a deal being imminent and ownership being changed. I also want to touch on the latest developments in the messy situation with the Senators getting their new downtown arena. We'll discuss all that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams, so if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. As I mentioned off the top, today I want to follow up on my video I made a few weeks back indicating that there was a potential sale of the Arizona Coyotes that appeared to be getting close, might be imminent, and could be happening before the end of the season, likely sometime, potentially even before the end of this year or into early 2019. Well, of course, we're almost near the end of December here. We're almost to the holiday period, and it looks as though things are moving forward and progressing, and we could have more information on this story into the early part of the 2019 with the potential sale closing perhaps before the end of the 18-19 regular season. So as I mentioned, this information comes from reporter Dave Pagnotta from the fourthperiod.com. So I'm going to go through an article here with you that he's recently posted on the situation to give you all the latest updates. So we're going to go through that. So I'm going to put that up on the screen here. According to one well-placed league source with knowledge of the situation, the process of selling the Coyotes is considered active and could be resolved relatively soon. There is still no set timetable as to when the current owner, Andrew Barroway, will finalize his deal with his purchaser. I've not yet been able to confirm if it's a group or an individual buying the majority of the club, and it's still unclear if he'll have a place with the franchise when all is said and done. Either way, a sale is coming, and the spotlight on team's future in Arizona is about to be shined once again. Let's make one thing clear. The league's focus is to keep the team in Arizona. This new prospective owner/ownership group knows and understands that, but how long the Coyotes remain in the greater Phoenix area is centered on the pursuit of a new arena. Barroway has tried, albeit unsuccessfully, to find a new home for the Coyotes. He's come close, but things are always seem to be falling apart. It's believed selling the franchise may spark discussions and help the team's hunt. In my estimation, if a new arena is not in the works and built within the next 3 to 5 years, the Coyotes' tenure in Arizona will come to an end, and that's where Houston comes into play. So as I've discussed here previously on this channel and other videos, I mean, it does make a lot of sense that the Coyotes, if that ever comes to the point that they have to move, that Houston would be the perfect landing spot, especially with the Coyotes set to move to the Central Division in a few years' time when Seattle enters the league as the 32nd franchise. As soon as that was announced that the Coyotes would be doing that, there was a lot of speculation around that, that they might be moving to Houston and might be there before that change actually happened. So hard to say if that would be the case or not. I'm not sure if things would necessarily go that quickly, and until things become more clear on who the potential new buyers are and what their plans are, it's really hard to say. But again, even if a new buyer comes along with the intent of keeping the team in the Phoenix area or in the state of Arizona, it does not guarantee them that they're going to. Obviously, the biggest factor here is getting a new long-term arena situation figured out. Now, I've had some comments on our previous videos. I assume most of the Coyotes fans saying the team's not moving. I'm just mongering the Houston people or the Quebec City people into a delusional state here that they're going to be getting a team and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm not here to hate on the Coyotes first and foremost, and I'm not giving anybody in Quebec City or Houston any false hope. For starters, the last video didn't even mention Quebec City at all. I mentioned the most sense here for the Coyotes, if, and I stress the word if it ever comes to that, would be Houston. So again, if you want to leave comments around the Coyotes and you don't think they're going to move, that's totally fine. I respect your opinion, but I do ask that you be respectful in the comment section as well. So I love the banter back and forth and sharing of opinions, but of course I want to go about this in the right way as well. I don't really appreciate any personal attacks in that sense. So if you could please keep the comments around that respectful, I'd appreciate it. But this article does carry on with some more information here, so I'm going to put that back up on the screen. We'll go through the remainder here. There has been a ton of recent speculation surrounding Houston Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta's interest in the Coyotes and his desire to bring an NHL franchise to Houston. He sparked further buzz on December 14th at a Coyotes away game against the Rangers in Madison Square Garden when he reiterated to at least one reporter, John McLean, who covers the Texans for the Houston Chronicle, his desire to purchase the Coyotes. For what it's worth, I dug a little further into that matter, and one NHL source told me that while Fertitta has indeed met with the league and discussed the possibility of owning an NHL franchise and housing a team in Houston, their last official meeting was at least 6 months ago. Rest assured, nothing is going on, the NHL source said with respect to Fertitta buying the Coyotes right now. So any link tying this Coyotes sale to Fertitta doesn't seem to hold much water, but that doesn't mean he isn't keeping close tabs on the situation. It's entirely possible he scoops in if a new arena in the Phoenix area isn't in the cards in a few years. So again, as I mentioned, he's not going to have an arena problem because he's got one already ready to go in Houston. And we don't have any reason to believe right now that the sale of the Coyotes is going to him. I mean, he has expressed interest. He's done it publicly as well, not just in behind closed doors meetings with the league executives. So, certainly could Houston end up with an NHL team in the future? I do think it's quite a possibility. But until the NHL reopens the possibility of expanding, which is going to be at least a few years' time, it's mainly going to be through relocation. And when you have a team who does not have a long-term arena situation figured out, then yes, there's going to be speculation. And all we've ever mentioned before is that if that ever comes to that, Houston would make the perfect landing spot, given everything else about this team and where they might need to go, being in the Central Division, etc. So there's lots of reasons to believe that the NHL and the new ownership group will try everything they can to keep the team in the state of Arizona. I know that Gary Bettman's been very stubborn with that. He doesn't like moving franchises, and that's great that he tries everything he can, to make it work. But until a long-term arena situation is figured out, it's really hard to put much of a long-term future on the Coyotes in Arizona for sure. So, of course, as always, want to hear your thoughts down below. Can the new ownership group get an arena figured out and keep them in Arizona? It certainly would be great for that team. But, again, it's a struggling franchise who's had a hard time attracting fans, in my opinion, and really keeping things going strong. They've been there a long time. After all this time, you would think that the franchise would be more stable. So, could we see them go to Houston? It's certainly a possibility, but it does look as though one more ownership group is going to buy this team and give it life and try to get it to stay in Arizona. But again, like the others who came before them, if they can't get the arena figured out, then it's only time will tell that the inevitability might happen. I've seen them move, and I still believe that Houston is the perfect landing spot should that happen. Now, as well as wanted to do a quick update, this article also mentions the stuff going on with the Senators trying to get their new downtown arena in place. As we had discussed before, Eugene Melnyk had opened up a lawsuit against his, former partner now, John Ruddy, Trinity Developments. Now, Ruddy has opened a countersuit against them for $1 billion. And there's a lot of alleging statements in this lawsuit that kind of basically says that they don't have much confidence that Eugene Melnyk really has the money to keep the team stable and get an arena going on its own. He's basically accused Melnyk of wanting a free arena. He basically wants a free arena built and paid for by Trinity Developments, along with maybe some taxpayer money, as long as he's not footing the bill, and expects free rent from the Senators for a long, long time. So that's certainly not going to go well. I know the league's not happy here, so let's take a look at what Dave's saying on the current situation with that. So I'm going to place another piece of this article up on the screen where he references this situation. He says, to make a long story short, Melnyk sued his then partner John Ruddy of Trinity Developments Group for $700 million, citing an egregious conflict of interest after their plans fell apart. Ruddy then countersued Melnyk for $1 billion on Tuesday, claiming Melnyk wants a free arena for the Senators and doesn't have the funds to go ahead with the project. And as I was told at this month's Board of Governors meetings, their arrangement with the NCC, who owns the land, terminated its deal with Melnyk and Ruddy on Wednesday. You can be sure the NHL is watching the situation ever so closely, especially after they were kept out of the loop for the most part that Melnyk's deal was falling apart, I was told from a league source. According to the source, the NHL has no further clarity on the developments going on into their Board of Governors meeting earlier this month and called the Senators' current situation both dire and complicated. It appears some of the NHL's other owners are frustrated by these turn of events as it could affect the team's overall valuation. On July 28th, I reported the Senators were presented with an offer to sell the team. While Melnyk engaged in talks, he ultimately rejected the proposal. At the time, I was told the pitch was well below what Melnyk or the NHL would consider as market value and is now believed to be around $600 million to $700 million for the Sens. How this latest development affects the numbers remain to be seen. So, of course, with all the lawsuits back and forth, I'm sure the NHL has their concerns, but ultimately I think it's pretty clear that Eugene Melnyk does not have the resources to get an arena done on his own. He needs John Ruddy of Trinity Developments. That partnership is basically dissolved. The NCC has terminated their agreement with that group to build the arena. So we're just kind of waiting for further clarity here on how this is going to proceed. We've even seen Melnyk come out and state now he'd be willing to put the Senators in an arena he doesn't own. So obviously he's already backpedaling. Hopefully these lawsuits can get some stuff settled here. It would be nice to see Melnyk just finally agree to sell the team to this group or another group that's interested and just be done with it. They can get the arena done because they have the resources to do so, and get him out of the picture certainly would be best for the team, for the league, and for everybody involved, in my opinion. Now, the article does go on a little bit further here. Cause for concern is the suggestion in Ruddy's countersuit that Melnyk's company, Capital Sports Management, Inc., and effectively Melnyk himself, is not financially sound. On July 27th, one day prior to my report, the Senators announced a $135 million refinancing loan that has a 6-year term credit with multiple financial institutions on both sides of the border. On October 19th, they entered into a $30 million 5-year revolving credit facility with the Bank of Montreal's corporate finance division. Things have certainly changed since the season started. For example, players have told me Melnyk's presence around the locker room has been uncharacteristically and noticeably minimal, and one has to wonder what happens now. This is my understanding there is at least 2 groups interested in pursuing the purchase of the Senators. The previous group mentioned in this article and another one, but it's unclear if either of them have recently expressed their intentions to Melnyk or to the NHL. Could Melnyk reconsider his position? Perhaps, though I'm sure he'll argue against that. Of course, we've heard Melnyk mention many times that he's not going anywhere, so he'll never sell the team, etc., etc. But it's becoming, as time goes on here, more and more abundantly clear he's not financially stable, has no means to build an arena. He needs help to do it either through the city or through private financing, through partnerships, and that's not going to happen from the city. Whether it's Trinity Developments or other groups interested in pursuing the team, they have the means to get this done, so it'd be nice just to see him kind of relinquish that fact and just give it up and sell. But, of course, could Senators fans get an early Christmas present like that? There's not much time left. I highly doubt it. But when the day comes, regardless of when it is, it will feel like Christmas, regardless of when that happens, when Melnyk finally, hopefully, agrees to sell this team, get it in the hands of financially stable people. They can get the arena looked after, and we can all move on from all of the chaos and drama that seems to surround and clouds this team. So as always, I want to hear your thoughts down below on this situation as well. There's plenty of interested groups with plenty of deep pockets to buy the Senators off Melnyk's hand, get this arena looked after. So, of course, let me know your thoughts. If you think he's ever going to come to that realization, just sell the team and move on, and we can all proceed here with getting rid of the drama out of Ottawa. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up before you go. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.